What's up, guys? Welcome back to another Ben and Griff discuss random things. Today, our random choice is wakebait. So we did an episode not too long ago on how to choose a topwater rod, and we got a lot of questions on wakebaits. What rod for wakebaits, what bait for different things. So we decided that we should make basically our top 3 wakebait choices of the summer. We're going to show you the rods we're throwing, why we're choosing which baits. You ready for this? This is right up your alley. You're already holding the gong.
It's my thing.
All right, let's do it, guys. Welcome to the Hookup Tackle. The Hookup Tackle is the world's largest showcase of Megabass products, featuring baits and colors not found at any other dealer. The Hookup also offers a wide display of OSP, Evergreen, Deps, Lucky Craft, Jackal, and many more. The Hookup Tackle is owned and operated by family, is staffed by guides and verified tackle nerds who love helping anglers elevate their craft. If you're in the Phoenix area, we'd love to have you stop by our showroom and check out the wonderful world of Megabass and the Hookup for yourself. If you shop online, there are almost 10,000 SKUs of Megabass products alone, with hundreds of other companies and new products being added daily. So next time you're looking for that hard to find bait, that color your fish have never seen before, or maybe you just want to elevate your game, look at thehookuptackle.com. All right, welcome back, my friends. I am Ben with the Hookup Tackle, the Tackle Otaku on Instagram, being joined by my buddy Griff, G-Sticks Bespoke on Instagram, and our other buddy at Jeffrey the King on Instagram. We're the Hookup Tackle USA. What's up, Jeffrey the King?
You guys are semi-matching.
Well, yeah.
It's Griff, because we're a little less amazing, Ben.
Oh.
We're buddies. Are you saying a little less amazing because I'm slouching so that I could be at your height? Do you want me to sit up and be out of frame on this video? I'll just chill. End of video. Cut?
Cut.
All right, so today we are going to break down wake baits. Now, if you guys are just getting into bass fishing, a wake bait is basically a bait that instead of being really floating on the surface or going subsurface, this is basically a bait that is designed, if this is the surface of the water, it is designed to basically work just underneath the water and create a wake behind it. So it's kind of a transitional type bait, not truly a topwater, not truly a crankbait or submersive bait, although some of them can crank down, and we'll talk about that as we go through. But a wake bait is just a really exciting way to fish. Why and when do you choose a wake bait over, say, a topwater bait? What is going through your mind, especially this time of the year where we're coming into summer?
So I'm always going to start with a topwater bait, but I'm going to know really quick if they're not going to bite it. And, bass are so weird that a 1/4 inch of depth will make the biggest difference. So I'm not going to go to the bottom. I'm just going to stay near the top of the surface, and I'm just going to go with something that's going to go under there, but it's going to be a lot louder and faster.
So your thought process is basically similar to how we break down a lot of things. You're going to start high and work your way down. So instead of starting high and then going down, you're starting very high and then going just slightly lower.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just right there.
All right, and that makes a big difference in the waters that you fish.
Yeah, it makes a huge difference, right? Like you could throw like a walking bait like all day. If it's not getting bit, it's not getting bit, right?
Right.
And then all of a sudden, you throw something that's going to have kind of the same motion to it, but it's just barely under the water, and the fish are just going to attack it.
So similar to your ideas are mine. When you use a topwater bait, whether it's walking bait or a popper, you're always going to have some kind of splash.
Yeah.
Right? So, if you have a walking bait, as it moves, it's kind of splashing the water. As you have a popper, as you pop, it's going to have some kind of splash. And sometimes that's a really good trigger for fish to have that splash. If there's fish that are really actively feeding on the surface, for instance, a topwater could be a great option because they're used to hearing the splashes of other fish hitting bait or whatever. A wake bait is basically going to eliminate those splashes, and it's going to give you more of a fluid motion under the water that's still basically at the top. So it's a great way for fish that are looking up, or they're in skinny water. Maybe there's just a little bit of water between weeds and the surface. Maybe the fish are really shallow, or maybe they're, where you would traditionally catch them on topwater and they're looking up, but they've heard so much of the splashing that this gives them just a little bit different option that eliminates that, and it's just more of a fluid, natural type of movement, if you will.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So let's, speaking of natural, let's dive into your first wake bait of choice during the summer. What do you have for us, sir, and why?
A monkey. But what's better than throwing a monkey,
Or
right?
more natural than a monkey.
Yeah, right?
Right? Yeah.
All the bass love monkeys.
That was a great transition, Jeff. He's shaking his head already. We're only on the first bait.
Jeff always shaking his head.
Yeah.
He's got a trout shirt on.
Yeah, that is a cute trout shirt you have. He went fly fishing one time. Now he's a trout guy.
Now he's a trout guy.
Take your time.
I'm taking the time.
Okay.
All right. So everybody knows this is one of my favorite baits to throw. It's the Megabass Gong. This is the junior size. All right. So this one right here is going to get under that surface. If you move it slow, the whole body minus this blade is going to be under the surface, and it's going to rock, and that blade's going to actually stay above the surface and plop and kind of like grind and squeak as it's going. This bait right here, it drives fish crazy. They eat this thing. I mean, it just gets bit.
So I can tell by seeing your selection of wake baits here that squeak is a big deal to you.
Yes, I think in my head, squeak. There's not a better sound than a squeak to drive bass crazy. I don't know if they hate it or it reminds them of something else, but anything that squeaks, you know, like a buzz bait. You know, the best buzz baits are the squeakiest ones.
Yep.
These blades, these fixed blades, there's no swivel or anything on there like that. And when that blade goes against that hook keeper or that loop back there, it just squeaks like crazy back there.
Yeah.
And it drives me crazy.
Now, we've been talking about the Gong for years. I know this has been one of your favorites for a long time.
Yeah.
One of the downsides to this bait is availability absolutely sucks.
Yes.
On Gong. So this is not a bait that's been discontinued by Megabass, but this is one of those that is they're operating at full capacity and they're having to make some decisions. Well, let's cut some things so we could make more 110s, or let's cut something so we could make more spinner baits, or whatever the case may be. This is one that keeps getting pushed farther and farther down the list. So, you know, if you guys don't own a Gong, colors are going to be very limited. You're going to need to kind of grab them as you can grab them. But there are other baits that are starting to come out with this same idea. They might not have the monkey face, but same basic concept of kind of a crank right at the surface with that squeaky blade on the back of it.
Yeah, so it's a proven way to fish, right? You know, the style of bait that it is, it only makes sense that other companies are going to come out with things. Right?
Sure, for sure.
Yeah.
So what rod are you throwing this on? What's your setup usually on this bait?
So normally when I'm throwing the Gong, I'm not throwing it in like big waters.
Okay.
I love to take it to the rivers, the Colorado for smallmouth, and I'm throwing it around a lot of cover.
Okay.
So I like to take the small rod. So the Killer Code is a rod that I use a lot.
Okay. So if you guys aren't familiar with the Killer Code, this is a 6.6 rod.
Yes.
That's rated for up to 2 ounces.
Yeah.
So it's a really strong rod, but it's also a kind of a surprising parabolic rod. This rod is relatively, I mean, not relatively, it's parabolic.
Yeah, it's super parabolic.
Right through the midsection. So what is it about this rod that works well for the Gong for you?
I like that it's small, it's really compact, and then it's strong. It's a strong rod. It looks really small, and it kind of looks like a medium heavy style rod, but it's a strong rod, and it can handle whatever you want to throw on it. You can definitely go past the rating that's on there, but the Gong's only a ½ ounce, so
it's pretty light.
Yeah, it's pretty light. It's whippy enough to be able to cast it.
Yep.
And then you can get into all these small spots. When you got those trees that are making the V and you're trying to get it in there, like just flip it in there and it's in there.
That's pretty dope.
Yeah. Sick rod.
All right. Good starting point on the wake for you, the Megabass Gong or some type of alternative. We've got the Alcatraz or the head knocker. Like, there's all kinds of different type baits, and I'll put a couple of Gong alternatives down in the description so you guys can check them out. But there's just nothing like a monkey.
It's the only monkey there is.
That's it. All right, for me, my starting point on a wake bait is similar to you. I want more of a crank, like a straight crank type, you know, bait. And this is usually where I start. And this is the OSP Daibuzzin. Now, OSP makes two little crankbaits that are wake baits. They make a Daibuzzin and they make a Buzzin Crank, okay? And for me, I usually go with the Daibuzzin. If you guys are fishing really small water or want something just smaller, you can go with the Buzzin Crank. Essentially, they're going to accomplish the same thing. Just to spec it out, the Daibuzzin is a 17 gram, 64 millimeters, so a little over ½ ounce. The Buzzin Crank is 50 millimeters and 10 grams. So you just shave a little bit of size off on there. But what's dope about the Daibuzzin, I know you can throw these a lot.
I do.
As well. So what's dope about these is, you know, when OSP makes a bait, they are always looking to make a bait that's going to push a little bit farther than what has been out before.
Yeah.
I guess is the easiest way to say it, right? So instead of a bait that has one specific speed, the Daibuzzin is one that you can fish at multiple speeds. So with one bait, I can throw it and I can fish it very slow, and this bait's gonna have this nice kind of slow one single knock. It's one that if I see a lot of activity, I can burn it really fast, and it's going to be able to move and keep itself keeled and create all kinds of commotion, more of like a true buzz, like the name would say.
Yeah.
So very simple. You don't have to do anything to it. It's just a cast and retrieve type bait. You're not twitching it, jerking it, anything like that. You're just gonna vary the retrieve until you find the retrieve that they're reacting to. But what I like about it is it's very noisy, right? You can do a lot of different retrieves. So it's a good one for just covering a lot of ground because you can throw it in, you know, deeper water, bigger water, all kinds of places that need the ability to be able to draw to a bait.
Yeah.
Right? So even though it's small, I would not say this is finessey.
It is not.
Right. I would say the Gong is more finesse
Yeah.
than this because it's just got that nice little quiet squeak. This is very loud.
Yeah.
So dirty water, big water, open water, or just when the fish are juiced, right? They're just super jacked up. This is a great one. As far as, you know, rods that I use for that, Mad Bull would be a great one, but typically that bait is going on the 7-1 medium heavy Valkyrie. So this is just a great one for any of those smaller crankbait rods because it's a glass carbon composite. It's going to be that true glass bend. So in essence, this is just kind of a square bill. It's just a wake square bill,
Yeah.
if you will. So the same rod that you're going to throw your square bill on is what you should throw this on, and this ends up being that rod a lot of times for me. So 7-1 medium heavy Valkyrie, great one for that. There's my #1 pick.
That's a good one. That's a fun bait to throw.
It's dope, and I would say that probably 80% of the time that I start with a wake bait, that's usually where I start. Because
Yeah.
it's a good shad, it could be a shad, it could be a bluegill, it could be so many different things, and it's just easy.
Well, the funniest thing about that one is it gets the same style bites as any topwater.
Mm-hmm.
So you're gonna get that huge explosion, but you're moving it, right?
Right.
When
Right.
you're moving it and you're not like kind of walking and pausing, like you're going.
Yep.
And it's gonna get those same type of big explosions on the top of water. It's super fun.
Yeah, and I like that you can vary your retrieve, and you can get it going slow, and you can start it by just that.
Mm-hmm.
Right,
Yeah.
so you can go slow, fast, slow. You can really vary the retrieve and draw strikes. So
Yeah.
super dope there. All right, what's #2 for you, guy?
I'm gonna go to the blaster.
All right.
All right, #2 for me is going to be the Silent Blaster. All right, so this one right here, it's made by Adusta. It's a jointed wake bait. I don't know, shad style. It has a
It's a much bigger bait
yeah.
than the Gong. You need help? 1v1 package opening competition? Yeah, well, take your time. It's becoming a trend. Jeff. Where's my Orion? I need a beer. Fucking plastic, am I right?
Right.
Jeff's going to take a nap. We'll get there someday, my friends. Oh, there we go.
There we go.
Okay. Okay. And
Cut.
no, not why.
Leave it.
So, the Adusta Silent Blaster. All right, so it's a longer wake bait, right? It's coming in at 140 millimeter at 45 grams, so just at like 1.5 ounces. All right, it's a little bit bigger. Has this super solid knock on there. I love a bait that gives you that clack, 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 that slow, methodical knock. But also this one comes with a prop on the back that's gonna give you a little swishing as you're retrieving it. But you can take this one off and it comes with a blade so you can get that squeak and that plop like everybody loves.
So do you normally swap it?
I'm 9 out of 10 times instantly going to the
on
blade.
the blade.
Yeah.
So this is back to your kind of gong squeak approach.
Yeah.
But in a longer profile bait.
Yes, it's pretty much just a long gong, right?
Okay.
So the joint is not for movement. The joint is to keep it keeled right.
I see.
So the back end's still gonna move as the blade or the prop does it, but it's not gonna have a ton of movement. The bait's already gonna be moving, but it's so long that they need this joint to keep it going correctly.
So this gives you a larger profile. It's got a knock that the gong doesn't have.
Yes.
But you could have that same squeak just in a larger, louder package.
Yes.
In essence.
Yes.
So when are you choosing this over, say, a gong?
So this one right here, I will throw in like the big lakes that have, you know, lots of trees and stuff. You know, we go to Alamo or, you know, Parker or, you know, Havasu and stuff like
Okay.
that. When these bass are getting super aggressive in the evening time. So I find myself throwing the gong more in the morning.
Okay.
And then in the evening time, when those bass are ready to feed for the night, the bigger baits are the ones that I throw.
So maybe as they come out of the depths and into the shallows and they're more aggressive and hungry,
yeah,
you're just giving them an upsized opportunity, basically.
Yeah.
Okay.
I feel because it's summertime, it's hot, and they're angry, and they just want to kill everything that's around them.
Yeah.
In the
Hell
evening
yeah.
time, right? Like.
Right. Okay.
It comes in like these sick colors. Like this is a Murray cod. I mean,
the Regio color is sick in there.
Yeah.
The bass color is sick in that.
yeah,
Just a matte white.
yeah. The colors are all sick. I mean, I feel like it's also made out of a bone material,
Yeah,
just like
definitely
that
has that.
Daibuzzin.
Yep.
That clack right there is like the slow clack and squeak are the best two combos out there for a wake bait.
Good combo. This would also probably be a dope one at night.
Yes.
Like after the sun goes down, you'll probably be able to get some strikes on this that you wouldn't on a smaller bait. Like, I'm not saying you couldn't catch them on the little Daibuzzin, but they're gonna definitely find that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's your setup for that? Are you doing the same thing, or what rod are you chucking the silent blaster on?
So lately I've been throwing the Levante Leviathan.
Okay.
Everybody knows that my favorite rod is the 7/8 combat stick.
Yep.
Right? So I've been trying to like branch out and try new things.
Yep.
But I'm really falling in love with this rod right here.
Okay. Why?
Well, it's gonna let me cast it a long, long way. The length, right? It's very parabolic. It's soft, right? Like it's giving you that bend that you need.
It's surprisingly soft. And I
Yeah.
think that this rod gets overlooked a lot because it's one of the less expensive rods, right? So a lot of times people are looking for like, oh, I want the best for this, and they want, you know, dude, nothing wrong with spending $800 or $1,000 or whatever you want to spend.
Yeah.
But this rod gets dismissed a lot, but the action is actually
Amazing.
pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This rod right here, I'm really falling in love. So I haven't spent, you know, the last couple of years with it, only the last few weeks with it, and I can't put it down. I'm
Cool.
throwing it a lot. Everything that I was throwing on my combat stick,
Yep.
like my combat stick's kind of feeling neglected. It's sitting in the corner right now.
Yeah.
I'm throwing this out. I'm trying to branch out and try new things, and this is the one that I'm falling in love with. Fighting the fish on this is really easy. Like it's gonna bend, it's gonna load, and you don't really have a lot to worry about, especially with a bait that's like 1 ounce, 2 ounces on the end of it.
Yep.
Like there's no stress in the fight.
So even though this is a rod that's rated essentially 2 to 8 ounces, and the silent blaster is a 1.5 ounce, so technically it's below the lure rating.
Oh no.
No problem.
No problem.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, good number 2, sir. That was leave it to Griff to pull 2 totally bizarre baits out of wherever he pulls them from, the Griff hole.
But we're having fun.
That's it. All right, number 2 for me, I'm going here. This is the Megabass I Jack. Now, this is a bait that has been on the market for some time. It's still hardly ever spoken about. It's a 1 ounce bait. It's 100 millimeters. Megabass makes a ton of different wake baits. They make the I Jack, they make the I Loud, they make the ORC, they make the Gong, right?
Yeah.
This is a bait that is always in my arsenal because this is a bait that, similar to me to like a crawler style bait where they're really designed to fish really slow.
Yep.
This is that bait. Okay, so internally, inside of this, there is a rudder. Okay, so I don't know if you can you see that, Jeff? Okay, so this rudder, it basically has this tungsten ball on there, and as it goes back and forth,
that's that knock.
it does two things. A, it creates a knock, but B, it keeps the bait ruddered. Okay, now, this same rudder is used in multiple baits. It's in the iLoud, it's in the iWing, right? They've figured out that there's different things that this rudder can do. It was in here, really designed as a clack.
Yeah.
Right? But you'll notice that the front of this bait is more of a triangular shaped lip. So what the purpose is they wanted this bait to really have a full roll, right? So the problem is if you don't have the right weight system in there, right? Let's say you're just a knockoff brand and built a bait that was gonna roll. If there's not the proper weight to shift left and right, because most weight transfer systems are designed to go, you know, long ways in the bait. This is a weight transfer system that's actually designed to go left and right, right? So as it starts going back, that rudder slams it and forces it to kind of finish its movement, if that makes sense. So this is just a great one for very slow, methodical retrieves. If it's calm water, if it's, you know, slack, you know, quiet, and I don't want to take my Daibuzzin and just be like through the surface, right? I could take a bait like this. It's a very natural profile. It could look like a shad, it could look like a bluegill, and I could just very slowly just move it through and have a very subtle movement while it's still creating that knock that the fish can hear. So just a super, super dope bait. For me, for rod, I like the 7.4 Valkyrie. For this, it kind of maxes out the Mad Bull, but you could throw it on the Mad Bull also if you're a Mad Bull guy. But the 7.4 Valkyrie is really where I love the kind of 1 to 2 ounce bait. This would probably be the rod that I'd throw that Silent Blaster on if it was on my boat. But this is just a great one. The 7.4's got a really nice soft tip to it, and then a lot of backbone. So it just handles that 1 ounce plus bait really, really well. So there you go. Number 2 for me. You throw the IJack.
I throw it a lot, yeah.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Yeah. It's just, you fish it the same way, nice and slow?
Super slow.
Yeah. Yeah, this is, you got to be careful with the speed of this. If you want a bait that can go really fast, this is not it. If you try to go too fast with this bait because of the shape of the lip, it's just going to kind of wash out and do goofy things. So it really wants and needs to go very, very slow, but it's ultra effective when that's the retrieve that they want. All right, guy, number 3.
Alright.
Here you are, sir.
Alrighty. So after the lights go out, I'm tying on a PB rat.
Okay.
And this is gonna be on my rod. If I'm fishing from midnight to 6 a.m., I'm not taking it off. I'm not switching anything. I might switch to color, but this is the bait that I'm using.
Okay.
All right. Something crazy about this bait. It has like a fish calling something inside.
Squeak.
Of it.
It's got a squeak. Again, this is your theme.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or a plop, or I don't know what it is.
It has a crazy gargle to it.
Yeah.
Right? And it's loud. Even though it's a small bait, it's super lightweight. Like this one is under 2 ounces right here.
Super easy to throw. Are
Yeah.
you throwing this on your Leviathan?
Yeah, this
again?
one's on a Leviathan again.
Okay.
Yeah. Still underpowered for the Leviathan.
Yeah.
But it throws it very, very well.
Cool. Now, are you doing a 2-piece or a 3-piece, or what is your usual go-to here?
I'll start with a 2-piece.
Okay.
If it's getting like bit, but they're not really going like super aggressive on it, I'm just gonna go bigger with a 3-piece because it's louder and it has the more motion to it. But I normally start here. If it's getting hammered, I'm not switching.
Interesting.
Yeah, I'm just gonna keep tossing and keep catching.
Perfect.
It's the best bait for nighttime fishing that I've ever thrown.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, you know, I've been out with Jeff half a dozen times where, you know, he's throwing a rat and I'm throwing a different style wake bait, and, you know, he's getting the bite and I'm not getting the bite.
Yeah.
So there's something to a rat that they just absolutely love. So definitely one of the top wake baits in my opinion.
Yeah.
So good choice there.
Yeah.
How are you choosing color? Is that going through your mind at all?
No.
Okay.
I'm gonna start with. I'm just gonna grab one.
He's wrong, Jeff. But I like to interview people.
I'm gonna
relax.
I'm gonna
That's
grab
the most
one.
excited Jeff's been. Have you noticed that?
Well, I mean, he's speaking facts.
No.
Color is not that big of a deal.
Okay.
As long as they can find it, especially in the middle of the night. They don't know what color it is.
Okay.
But I'm gonna grab whichever one I grab out of my box.
Okay.
I'm
That's
gonna
how you're
toss it.
choosing.
Yeah.
Scientific.
Yeah.
Close your eyes, reach in. That one.
Yeah.
Okay. This sounds like the Griff way of choosing a bait. Is this how you always choose your baits? I've never even paid attention.
Yes.
Because you throw some weird shit. Is it just reach in the box and whatever you grab, that's what you're using?
Yeah.
Interesting. Maybe we're all overthinking this, Jeff.
Yeah.
Especially you.
So color doesn't matter. You're just grabbing whatever one, and then you're just mixing it if they're not biting it.
Yeah.
So if you throw white and they're not eating it, do you go to like a black or a darker one, or how?
I'll just grab the next one,
I see.
and then and then I'll throw it.
Scientific bass fishing with Griff.
Yeah. It's the middle of the night. They don't know. They can't tell.
Okay.
It's the noise is what's bringing them to it.
Well, and that does have an amazing noise.
Yeah.
So, all right. So there you go. Those are 3 good options, sir.
Yeah.
Disagree about your color selection, but who am I?
Finally, somebody with some sense around this fucking place. All right, you're good to talk about whatever you want to talk about.
Okay, for me, number 3, I get torn here because really those first 2 are the 2 that I throw. I mean, that probably makes up 98% of my wake bait fishing. So normally, if they're not eating something like that, then I'm going to one of these 2. So either some kind of swim bait profile wake that would be similar to what you were just talking about with the Silent Blaster, or the Roumba. Now, I don't throw either of these that much. The Silent Killer is a dope one, but it's really more of a crank down than it is a true wake bait. But I use it at the same times that I'm using a wake bait. But the Roumba is really more of a true wake bait, so that's what I'm gonna talk about here. And the reason why I choose a Roumba over, say, a Daibuzzin, now they make different types of Roombas.
Yeah.
Okay, so they make a rattling version as well, but the original Roumba is silent. And sometimes those fish get super shallow, and the same that we talk about with Topwater is, 9 times out of 10 when I'm choosing a Topwater, I want it to have a knock, I want it to have a lot of calling features, but sometimes they've seen enough of that.
Yeah.
And they're still in the same place, they're still eating the same way, but they've heard so much knock, 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 knock that they know, like, oh, somebody's throwing a wake bait at me again.
Yeah.
Whereas this guy can come through, it's a really wide movement with no rattle, right? So no internal sound, that just has a really big, fast push. It pushes a lot of water, and it's quiet. So when your fish get a little lethargic in chasing something down, you can extend your season out a lot with this. This is a bait that back when we were fishing mead a lot, when it actually had water in it, this was kind of like a secret of that late summer, early fall, because you could just extend that topwater bite out because it was so quiet, but you could still fish it over the same stuff. So for me, going the opposite way of you with all your squeaks and your knocks, and really me too, with the 2 that I throw most often, it's good to just have another option in your box when you need something a little bit more subtle. So tons of colors in this thing. The other thing about Ima is they're relatively inexpensive for a Japanese brand. So, easy to grab a couple of them and have them in case, they should be eating and they're not. It might be worth trying that and throwing it on there. So the Ima Roumba, again, that's just gonna go on my 7-1 medium heavy Valkyrie, my Mad Bull, whatever I'm throwing my normal square bill type stuff on, it's gonna go on that for me as well. So there you go, there's my number 3.
Color? Does color matter, huh?
Color is critical,
Hmm.
absolutely,
Yeah.
100%,
Okay.
day or night.
Day or night?
Yep, so, I'm a big believer in color.
Uh-huh.
Does it make a difference? Absolutely.
Especially at night, or?
Dude, 100%.
Okay.
This can be a separate conversation. Apparently it needs to be. This needs to be a beer drinking conversation, or we're going to be here a long time, Jeff. So there you go. I'm a Roumba, number 3. Make sure you get the good color stuff.
It's a good one. The room is dope.
It is dope. Yeah, it's simple. One thing I would definitely recommend with this guy is change the hooks. So anytime you're buying a Japanese bait, that's relatively inexpensive. So Ima, Lucky Craft, those are two that come to mind. Make sure you change the hooks. Okay, they're making an amazing bait. They're putting cheap hooks on them. So put some owners on there, whatever hook you like. The other ones that we've spoken about, usually I'll throw the Megabass with the hooks if I'm just out to have a good time. These hooks are fine. If I'm being super serious about it, I'll change them out just to have a little bit thinner gauge that's strong. OSP, I usually just throw the hook straight out of the package. OSP comes with great hooks. So there you goes, or there you guys go. I don't know what I just said. I'm so stressed on this color topic, Jeff. We're gonna have to have a color conversation. But there you go. There is my top 3 wake baits for summer. There's Griff's top 3 wake baits. Good selection, sir.
Yeah, all of them are pretty good. You can definitely have a lot of fun with all these.
Totally. And I would throw any of your 3. And I've seen you throw most of my 3. So, just, experiment. Try something fun this summer. It's a great time of the year to branch out and try things that maybe you guys haven't tried. Wakebait is definitely a bait that can extend that fun surface bite out for you guys a little longer than just throwing topwater. So if you have any questions on anything that we covered, drop it down below and we will get to it. And until next time, guys, have a wonderful summer. Try some new stuff, try some wake baits. I know you're gonna catch a lot of fish. We will see you on the next one. So peace.